Everyone loves the fair. And the animals are always a favorite, enjoyed by the visitors who attend, and loved by the exhibitors who attend to them. It's a long-term commitment to purchase and care for these animals, and when one gets sick, it's not just upsetting for you, the owner, it's also a concern for the other animals and people who it may come in contact with.
What they're learning is really production type agriculture, how to select animals, care for animals, keep them healthy, keep themselves healthy in the process, and become more knowledgeable as livestock raisers, producers, and consumers.
The project that we've done over the past couple of years has been working with youth on home environments, especially 4-H groups, as well as county fairs where they take their animals to show and try and understand what are the best practices that they can use at home and at the fair to keep the animals and the people healthy.
These kids were super excited to participate in the biosecurity project through UC Davis, and they posed as researchers, so to speak, to increase their knowledge of pathogens and illnesses and how those are transmitted.
One activity we did is when we walked into our 4-H, there was glitter. And our sheep leader, he took glitter and he put it on a girl's back. But just like you touching a panel at fair and you go touch another animal.
We're learning about how fast it can happen, but we're also learning about how we can prevent that. They kind of showed us some ideas and we would kind of try and take it to the next level. You know, you check your food, you don't just check the top, you gotta check the bottom of the barrel too, because that's where all the stuff is hiding.
UC Davis researchers took samples at the beginning of the project and then again after the best practices had been applied to measure the success of the new procedures.
It was really cool to see the differences that it actually made and how what we did helped our animals and all of the livestock and not spreading diseases.
By raising awareness of how disease is spread, each member took extra steps at home to clean water and stalls thoroughly on a regular basis, avoid sharing tools between different barns or with sick animals, and wear clothing specific for livestock work. They took these best practices and came up with ways they could apply or improve on them at the fair.
The youth who'd been learning about best practices to keep their animals healthy at home on the farm, they then came to the fair and were able to say, hey, we think that we'd like to clean out the stalls more often, or we'd like to have signage about hand washing. And so they were making those kind of suggestions to improve biosecurity and keep everyone healthy at the fair, and the fair management listened. And so it was a really interesting dynamic to try and everyone's on the same team work together.
Before we came in and whenever we did pen setup, we got bleach water and we sprayed it all over the pens to make sure it killed the different diseases and stuff. And before we laid down our bedding, we put up anti-parasite stuff on the ground.
I have to make sure other people don't use our water troughs and make sure it's full every time, it's clean, filtered.
Making sure your hands are always washed, not going from pen to pen and touching like different species, especially at fair.
At the fair, it's like, it's what we do at home, but it's times 10.
Some other ideas were species-specific barns or areas, separating market animals from breeding stock, and requesting the public keep strollers and other wheeled items out of the barns, if possible, to minimize moving bacteria from one area to another.
Our goal is never to obtain a sterile environment. That's not realistic for our everyday lives. At home or at the fair or at work, we're always surrounded by microbial communities. And a lot of those bacteria are really good bacteria. Some of them are bad bacteria. And so what we try and do, just like at home or at school, we try and reduce the risk that those bacteria are going to be able to make us sick. And so we encourage hand washing, we encourage practices that will help to keep the environment relatively clean, but never sterile. That's not realistic.
There are always new ideas to mitigate disease transmission. Start with simple upgrades and add more as you can. Even small steps can make a big difference. For more information and additional resources on how you can learn about biosecurity practices for your club, visit our website.
It's always worth the extra precaution to make sure your animal's safety comes first.
We're working with animals, but it also comes to you as a human. You can catch a disease just like that. it really teaches you not just about the animal, but about you yourself and the other people around you.